Who are the better drivers? The rallymen used to blasting through the forests, or the Grand Prix drivers with their precision but inexperience of the rough stuff? Relaxed and cheerful before the heat of the contest, they talk to Simon Taylor.
I think most rally drivers can drive on the tar, it's no problem. But to get the last 10% out of the job, you've got to start, forgetting all your rally experience and start adopting a different line and being very, very much tidier. The big problem all the rally guys find on the circuit is the traffic. These hooligans who try to have you off all the time.
Last night I was told how serious it is and this, that and the other. And every year I've just come to enjoy myself and have a bit of fun. But this year is very serious. So all the Grand Prix drivers, I got together and said, including John, who's sitting here, I said we're going to try very hard this year to beat them, aren't we, John?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No doubt about it.
And no doubt about it, Nigel Mansell is first away, representing the Grand Prix drivers in the mighty 300 horsepower V8 Rover. Now, Nigel is comparatively strange to this. Look at the way he's throwing the car about. Slowest in practice, and he was getting the feel of the Rover. And the course is very tricky. It's still quite damp. Underneath the tyres, the rally stage there is very slippery, and they go from the forest tracks to tarmac and back again. And Nigel Mansell, now just watch the way he controls this car. It's a very, very powerful motor car. 5-speed, it's big, it's comparatively heavy for a rally car, but it handles absolutely superbly. And Nigel Mansell certainly seems to have got the feel of it as he comes towards us, through the wood, away again, letting the back drift out again, down towards the crowd, into the right-hander, and soon back onto the tarmac where he can really feed the power through. They've all got Michelin Forest tyres on the cars, which are very suitable for where they are now, not so suitable for the tarmac, of course. And it's onto the tarmac now. Now away again onto the loose stuff to rejoin the tarmac shortly. Through the S-bend at the top, past the bales, and Nigel Mansell clips them. He's onto the tarmac now, dropping down to the descent. This is the quickest part of the course. Right down through the gearbox into first gear, locks the wheels and gets it too far round. He's lost time there, but it's 2 minutes and 2 seconds to the hairpin. And that's going to be our checkpoint time for all the drivers. And Nigel Mansell is almost home now. He goes into the loop here, back onto the tarmac, gets his foot hard down. Now he's going to fling it left. Watch the back step out as Nigel feeds the power in. Straightens it out, goes onto the grass a bit, into a right-hander now, and then under the finish banner, and we'll see what the time is. 2 minutes, 41.7 seconds. This is Grand Prix driver John Watson.
Yes, I'm just watching now.
The man who has driven in the Mcrae Grand Prix team for so long, but as I talk is still looking for a Grand Prix drive in 1984. The most experienced Grand Prix driver of them all at the present moment. And this is a typical John Watson drive. Neat, unflurried. And he doesn't do any of this at all between rally sprints. A truly great driver who can step out of a 500 horsepower Grand Prix McLaren into a 300 horsepower rally Rover and deal with it all as competently as John is. By the way, these cars built originally for the Paris to Peking rally, which was to have been held and now has been postponed. And they've got 60-gallon fuel tanks. Nothing like that in them. Now, of course, Watson through the forest. Into the left-hander. The target time at the hairpin so far, which Watson is approaching very soon indeed, is 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Nigel Mansell. Jim Mcrae did 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Watson on his way now. Past the bales. Right, left, right again. Onto the tarmac, over the crest, down the hill, approaching the hairpin, down through the gearbox, lock round to the right, and hairpin time as he stops, but not for as long as Mcrae did. 2 minutes, 3 seconds, exactly the same time as Jimmy Mcrae. But you remember, Mcrae stopped, Mcrae went very wide here. John Watson has kept it going. He should be quicker than Mcrae over the entire stage, but we'll see. 2 minutes 43.9, Jim Mcrae. 2 minutes 41.7, Nigel Mansell, the fastest yet. Watson approaching the last corner. Under the banner, and it is 2 minutes 41.5, the fastest yet for John Watson. And there is rally driver from Finland, Pentti Arikkala. Now, the good news for Arikkala, the bad news for Mansell, Mcrae and Watson is that the course is drying out very, very rapidly indeed. Arikkala has got a tremendous advantage here. The course is much drier than it was. And of course, Pentti Arikkala is a very accomplished and successful rally driver. He is in his element. Better conditions. He hasn't driven the big V8 Rover before, but he's driven the Vauxhall Chevette. He has driven the Lancia Rally. He's got an enormous amount of rally experience, and doesn't it show? Just look at him go. Pentti Arikkala lives in Cookham Dean, very close to Keke Rosberg, the Grand Prix driver, very close to Ari Vatanen, his rally, and run for your lives, he says. On their way they go, the crowd, perfectly all right. And the tremendously spectacular Pentti Arikkala, who has a reputation of being a bit brutal with the machinery, but my goodness, it seems to be paying dividends today. And he's demonstrably quicker here. How is he going to be at the hairpin? The fastest yet, 2 minutes, 2 seconds, Nigel Mansell. Pentti nudges one of the bales. Now we're going to see down the hill into the hairpin, and this is very quick indeed. And he's kept it going. 1 minute 52 seconds compared with Nigel Mansell's 2 minutes and 2 seconds. That's how much quicker the course is. Plus, of course, Pentti Arikkala being a very accomplished rally driver. So, the fastest time so far, 2 minutes 41.5, John Watson. Pentti Arikkala, revelling in the drier conditions, is almost there. There's the banner. And what a time, 2 minutes 27.4. That's 14 seconds faster than John Watson. And now here is the first timer. This is Derek Warrick, Grand Prix driver, late of the Tolman team. And in 1984, he is driving for the Renault Formula One Grand Prix team on equal status with Patrick Tambay, and is a potential British world champion. But this is the first time he has driven on a rally stage like this. Although Derek Warrick is very used to loose conditions, he originally made his reputation by being the Super Stocks world champion, and that calls for perfect throttle control on very loose going. Through the woods towards us, Derek Warrick. Rover V8, 300 horsepower, which is about 300 less than Derek Warrick is used to with the Tolman. But you wouldn't think, to look at Derek Warrick, that this was the first time he'd driven in anything like this. Just letting the back step out a little bit too much there. He's lost a bit of time, but not a lot. Now back to the hairpin. What is Derek Warrick's time going to be as he goes to the right, the left, the right, then rejoins the tarmac? And I remind you that the fastest hairpin time we have so far is that of Pentti Arikkala, 1 minute 52. Derek Warrick, oh, that's the best anybody's gone round the hairpin because he's kept it going, but his time comparatively slow, 2 minutes up to there, comparatively slow in comparison with Arikkala, that is. And oh, Derek, that has blown it for Derek Warrick. He almost stops there as he goes onto the grass, but accelerates away onto the tarmac. Petit Auricula's the quickest so far, 2 minutes 27.4. The conditions better for Warrick than they were for Mansell, Mcrae and Watson.
35.
And Warrick's time, 2 minutes 37.9, is second only to Petit Auricula. And here is the fastest rally driver of them all, Stig Blomqvist, who has amazed everybody this year with his incredible performances in the German four-wheel drive Audi Quattro. Faster even than Hannu Mikkola in many rallies. And Mikkola is the world champion. Stig Blomqvist, to him, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, they are all the same. And he is the reigning British rally champion of 1983. Here in the Rover, rear-wheel drive, different drive configuration to the Audi Quattro, less horsepower, but this, after all, is very much a production car, albeit modified for a long-distance rally. And Stig Blomqvist, a man of very few words, but when he talks, it's really worth listening to. Off the loose, into the right-hander, round the tree, even looser here as he comes up towards the tarmac section. And Stig locks up momentarily there, and there he's lost time. That shows you how you've got to keep the rhythm going. You mustn't lose forward motion. And Stig's got it all to do. The fastest, Petit Auricula, 2 minutes 27.4. Derek Warrick, second fastest. But this is going to be a quick one, no doubt about it. Down to the hairpin. Now let's see how a true expert takes it. Cuts in, lets the back drift out, feet in the power, drives away across the field.
3 seconds under 2 minutes for Stig Blomqvist.
And Stig Blomqvist hits one of the straw bales. That again will have cost him time. And he is not, there's no doubt about this, he's not going to be as quick as fellow Scandinavian, the Finnish driver Petit Auricula, Stig Blomqvist from Sweden. His target time, 2 minutes 27.4. Blomqvist, last corner of the stage, under the banner, 2 minutes 30.6. And here is that ever cheerful American Grand Prix driver Danny Sullivan, who has just finished his first season of Grand Prix driving for Tyrrell. And this is entirely new to Danny. Away he goes, off the tarmac, across the field, climbing the hill, to disappear from view, round the left-hander at the top there, to appear again, and here he is. Danny used to handling big American production cars, of course, but not a production car like this. Not one with the power response of the Rover with its V8 300 horsepower engine, and he's making a jolly good fist of it. But he is actually, you can see it, you can see the difference between Sullivan and a driver of the caliber of Stig Blomqvist and Petit Auricula. Just hear that distinctive, throaty roar of the Rover engine as Sullivan, enjoying the drier conditions. There he goes through the artificial, then onto the tarmac. And this is going to be over 2 minutes as he comes down to this, well over 2 minutes. He locks up the fronts. He's making a terrific effort at the end there. And Danny Sullivan now is back onto the field, into the left-hander. It's going to be a good time compared with the sort of thing that you and I would do, but it looks to me as though it's going to be the slowest time of the day in relation to his Grand Prix and rally rivals. Into the left-hander. Now he's got to straighten up, keep it on the island, go round the right-hander to complete the stage for Danny Sullivan, the last of the Grand Prix drivers. And the time, 2 minutes 32.
There was one or two places where I got coming back out of a little forest up there and I got it too crossed up, but I made all the course this time. I didn't miss any of it.
Even though the car nearly did disappear in a cloud of rubber smoke at the bottom of the hill here.
Well, yeah, I just figured I was braking too early in the morning, so I had to make up for it. And I just wanted to get down there late and just pull the handbrake on and have a straight shot.
But this is the man, Tony Pond, 3 times a winner of the Rallysprint, rally driver par excellence. Not only that, but he has driven the turbocharged MG Metro for Austin Rover in the British Saloon Car Championship this year and done incredibly well. And Tony is, in many ways, the best British rally driver of them all. He is calm, he is unflurried, he is tremendously experienced. He drives in rallies with great success, not only in Europe, but also for much of the season in South Africa. And just look at this for car control. This is a real expert at work. "37-year-old Tony Pond from Fingest in Buckinghamshire. And he has just driven, against all expectations, the Rover V8 to 3rd place in the PO Rally in France. And that was an incredible performance because it was a very tight, Nadgery demanding course. And Pond, to everybody's consternation, brought this big Rover home into 3rd place. And he really is going. He won in 1980, he won in 1981, he won in 1982. He's driven for Ford, Triumph, Talbot, General Motors, Vauxhall, Datsun, virtually everybody. And look at the way he's going down to the hairpin. This is the quickest yet. 1 minute 51. That's class. That is real class. You are looking, I am sure, at the fastest man on the rally stage because nobody, but nobody, is holding a candle to Tony Pond. He's just got the left-hander, straighten up, and then into the right-hander before the finish banner to go. And this has got to be the winning time coming up, in which case Tony Pond will have 12 points. 2 minutes 24.6.
Tony, a tremendous run. That was 2 minutes 24.6, which is 8 seconds quicker than you were going this morning in the wet, and is comfortably the fastest that we've seen. Was it a perfect run, or did you have any problems?
No, it wasn't quite perfect. I went out on the grass once and actually had to feather. I think somebody could go quicker than that.
So you really rather like to have another chance?
Yes, can I have another go, please?
Typically Tony Pond. So at the end of the rally stage, with the auto test and the race still to come, unsurprisingly, it's the rally men in the lead. Tony Pond with 12 points, Auricola second on 10, Blomqvist third with 9, Danny Sullivan, the top Grand Prix driver, with 8 points, and then Warrick, Watson, Mansell and Mcrae.
Well, now back to the Rallysprint at Donington Park between the Grand Prix drivers and the rally car men. After the rally section, Tony Pond was leading, Auricola was second and Blomqvist third, with Danny Sullivan, the first of the Grand Prix drivers, in 4th place. Well, next the auto test, followed by the race. And your commentator is Murray Walker.
Nigel Mansell first away in the 1300cc MG Metro. Only 7th fastest in the special stage when it was damp and slippery. He's got a lot to do. So here's the procedure. Forward and stop over the line. He's done that. Now back and stop in the simulated garage. He's done that. Accelerate away. It's all first gear and reverse stuff. Now through the slalom between the pylons into the garage, and you've got to do a full 360-degree turn around that pylon without touching it or the sides of the garage. Spin the car backwards, and now he's got to do another reverse turn and stop across the line. That was an incredible drive, 39 seconds. Jimmy Mcrae, the rally driver, driving an identical MG Metro. They produce about 85 horsepower. Not so good as Nigel there. Into the garage, stop. Forward in first gear, bit of wheel spin, hard lock to the left. And Jimmy Mcrae's target time is that of Nigel Mansell, 39 seconds, as the Scotsman, the ex-British champion, pirouettes gets the MG Metro around that centre pylon without touching a thing. Now let's see how the turns go. 1. On come the reversing lights. Now he's going to flick it round again. That's all right. Bit of sawing at the wheel and stop. 43 seconds. That's surprisingly slow for Jimmy Mcrae, who was only 6th on the stage. Grand Prix driver John Watson, 6th on the rally stage in the big Rover. He stops his wheels across the line into reverse. Now, almost as soon as he stops, it's got to be forward again, and that's nice and smooth. The hallmark of John Watson driving as ever. Into the pylons. Right, left, right. In comes the power. Now full lock. Spin it round, John. Keep it going. Out of the garage. Oh, he's lost a bit of time there. Spin it round now. Now back across the line and round comes the front. In goes the power. Stop go the wheels now, and John Watson's time 42.2 seconds to Grand Prix driver Nigel Mansell. Pentti Ricola, rally driver from Finland, very unused to the little Metro, and he has a problem for a Finnish driver, and that is that the steering wheel is on the right. And Ricola, of course, like Stig Blomqvist and Danny Sullivan, are used to the steering wheel being on the left. Through the pylons. Gone very wide there, kept the power on. He certainly goes at it, does Pentti Ricola. Flick it round. Stop. Oh, lost time finding reverse gear. That's cost him at least a couple of seconds. Oh, it's a bit choppy, this one, for Pentti Ricola. Indeed it is, 43.2 seconds, and that's the slowest we've had yet. How is Grand Prix driver Derek Warrick going to go? 5th on the stage, that gave him 7 points, and he has to go forward to get across the line. And it looked to me as though his near side front wheel didn't actually cross the line. But he was 3rd in practice for this auto test discipline. Into the pylons. Derek's used to going very quickly, but he's not used to this sort of manoeuvrability. Showing just a little. Not as smooth as Nigel Mansell was by a long shot. Down comes the front now, watch it. It's a miracle that the tyres stay on. 49.3 seconds, and that is the slowest we have had yet. But we've got a rally driver coming up now, and what a rally driver. Stig Blomqvist from Sweden, the British champion of 1983, here in an MG Metro. Out of the garage. He was 3rd in the stage, the rally stage, in the big Rover. That gave him 9 points. He was 4th fastest in the practice for the auto test. And he's got the hang of it as Stig. Look at the way. That garage is little wider than 2 cars, and round comes the back now, across the line. The front, and then the stop, and it's a good time, this. Oh, and he's lost it there. That's cost him at least a second. 41.5 seconds. It's the 2nd fastest, but still 2.5 seconds slower than that incredible run of Nigel Mansell's. And here is Danny Sullivan. So Nigel Mansell is leading. Stig Blomqvist is 2nd. John Watson is 3rd. Grand Prix driver, used to driving the big Tyrrell. Danny Sullivan has flown over from California especially for this event, and he's now into the slalom. But he's missed. He's going to be penalised. He failed to get both wheels over the line at the first stop, and that will have cost him an extra 10 seconds as a penalty, and that'll really slow him down.
So far, number 1.
65.2 seconds for Danny Sullivan, and that's because of the penalty. Now, here is the man who should win, who was fastest in practice. Tony Pond, 3 times a winner of the BBC TV Rallysprint, 1980, 81 and 82. He won the stage in the big Rover today easily. He knows auto tests because that's the way he started his career. He knows the MG Metro because he's been driving one all season. And Tony really going at it. Oh, but that's most unusual for Pond. That was messy, and that has lost in time. And now it's really close, for after the special stage in the Rovers and the auto test in the MG Metros, Pond leads Blomqvist by 1 point. Mansell's still well in touch in third place, with Auricola fourth, Watson fifth, Sullivan and Warrick tying for sixth, and Mcrae eighth. So it's the 10-lap race around the superb 2-mile Donington circuit that's going to decide who wins this year's Austin Rover Rallysprint. With everyone in identical 1600cc, 110 horsepower MG Maestros, the grid positions are critical. Decided on practice time, the front rows Mansell, Blomqvist and Watson. And Mansell creeps away a bit, but as they go and down to Redgate on the first of 10 laps, it's Blomqvist, Watson and Mansell. Mansell coming through. Round Redgate they go, down now to the Craner curves. These cars are identical. They have been tested for horsepower. They have all been set up. And now, as they come down to the Craner curves, it's Grand Prix driver John Watson in the lead. Grand Prix driver Nigel Mansell in second place. And right behind him, rally driver Stig Blomqvist. Round the old hairpin. Now they drag round and start to climb uphill. Round the left-hander at McLean's and on up the hill, and it's Watson, Mansell, Blomqvist and Tony Pond in fourth position. There's the distinctive dark car of Watson leading. There's Pond. There is Jimmy Mcrae in fifth position. Now they come up towards Coppice, and it's still Watson, Mansell, and it looks to me as though Watson's making a bit of a break as they come down towards the chicane. The right, the left, and it's Mansell. Mansell's going to go through on the inside, and he does it. Nigel Mansell takes the lead. Blomqvist goes up into second position. Watson goes down to third place as they complete the first lap, and it's Tony Pond in fourth place, lap 2. Redgate corner, and Nigel Mansell leads. Blomqvist is second, and look, Blomqvist's car has got a big dent in the left side of it, but he's in second place. John Watson is in third position, and behind Watson is Tony Pond. So those are the 4 top men, and it's Grand Prix driver Watson leading, then rally driver Blomqvist, number 6 there in second place. Grand Prix driver Watson is third, and rally driver, and off goes Derek Warrick. Derek Warrick has gone right off, and through there goes Penty Auricola in 7th place. So that means to say that Derek Warrick, struggling to get back onto the circuit with wheel spin on the grass, is down to 8th and last position, and he won't like that one little bit. Derek Warrick then pulls away. And meantime, back at the front, it's Nigel Mansell, Blomqvist, Watson, Pond, Sullivan, Jimmy Mcrae. There they go, and Nigel Mansell has got Stig Blomqvist about a car's length behind them now as they come down to the chicane for the second time in this 10-lap race. And it's still Mansell leading. Blomqvist darts about. Watson is alongside him. Pond is right behind, and Blomqvist's going to try and take Mansell on the outside, and he fails. Now he's got the inside line, and at the end of the second lap, it's still Mansell leading. Then Blomqvist and Watson absolutely together. Tony Pond is in fourth position, and that means to say that Mansell and Blomqvist are tying on aggregate with 29 points for overall victory in the Rallysprint. John Watson, there he goes in third position, just ahead of Tony Pond. We're on lap 3 now. This is the third of 10 laps. They've gone round Redgate. They're into now Mansell, Watson, and there, sandwiched between them is Stig Blomqvist. Tony Pond still in that fourth position. And Tony Pond has got to improve if he wants to win overall, which of course he does for the 4th year in succession, as Nigel Mansell comes round the right-hander almost at the end of another lap. Then Blomqvist still in second position. Then John Watson tucked up almost on his boot lid. Tony Pond there in the light-coloured car in fourth position. As a railway train with 4 carriages, they come into the top straight, down to the chicane. Mansell and Blomqvist now tying on points. And And they're in line abreast as they go into the right-hander. A Pond is right up behind them. And Watson goes through. Watson on the grass. Watson takes the lead. Up into second place goes Pond. Down to fourth position goes Nigel Mansell. What an incredible drive. Into Redgate now, and it's Tony Pond in the lead. This is the best race in Rallysprint we've ever had. It's Pond leading, Watson second, Blomqvist third, Nigel Mansell in fourth position, and Tony Pond is leading on aggregate now. He's got his place where he thinks he ought to be. He's leading the race, he's leading the Rallysprint on aggregate, having won in 1982, 81 and 1980. Rally driver leads. Grand Prix driver John Watson is in second place. Mansell is up into third. Nigel Mansell is up into third position ahead of Blomqvist. Then it's Danny Sullivan, Jim Mcrae, Petty Auricola, and Derek Warrick is still eighth and last. Into the top straight again. Down to the chicane. This is the end of the fourth lap out of 10. The first two are making a bit of a breakaway. It's Tony Pond, John Watson behind him. Tony Pond has won this race for the last 2 years, and Watson's through. As I say that, John Watson goes through and takes the lead at the end of the fourth lap. In this 10-lap race, the calm, cool, collected John Watson puts all his Grand Prix experience on the line, and now Tony Pond goes through on the inside. This is the half distance, lap 5. And it's Watson, Pond and Mansell's right up with them. Nigel Mansell is now in second place. He's got ahead of Tony Pond. That means to say that Pond is on 30 points now. Mansell is on 29 points. It's that close as Watson leads. Look how they are pressing these 110 horsepower MG Maestros. And Mansell's going to try for the lead. It's still Watson leading. Lap 5. And Stig Blomqvist has made that dent even bigger, or rather someone else has. Someone else has sideswiped Stig Blomqvist down to the chicane. Now, John Watson's there. He's in the lead. And there's Mansell coming out of his slipstream. Mansell's going to go through on the inside. Nigel Mansell takes the lead. At the end of lap 5, it's Mansell, Watson, Tony Pond in third position. Right up close behind Tony Pond, it's Danny Sullivan. Sullivan is coming up now. Danny Sullivan, the Grand Prix driver, is right up with Tony Pond, and there they go. Mansell, Watson, Sullivan and Pond absolutely together. We are now on lap 8 in this 10-lap race. This and laps 9 and 10 to go. Mansell and Watson, and they've got a bit of a gap. Now they've pulled away. Behind them are Sullivan and Pond. Look how close they are. Jim Mcrae has moved up into 5th position. And so Tony Pond is in trouble in terms of winning the Rallysprint on aggregate, because Nigel Mansell now is the man. And Pond's door, look at that. Pond's door has obviously been hit. It's flapping open on right-handers as Mansell and Watson come down to the end of the lap with Nigel Mansell leading and Watson challenging. Watson will be on the inside when they come to the left-hander, but he's going to take Mansell. He's going to take Mansell on the outside, and he's done it. John Watson moved into the lead on lap 9, which is the last lap but one. Now, this makes things tremendously exciting, because with John Watson leading, with Nigel Mansell second, with Tony Pond third, ahead of Danny Sullivan and Jim Mcrae in 5th place, Nigel Mansell has somehow got to get ahead of John Watson. If he does, he will have scored the same number of points as Tony Pond, that is to say 29, assuming Pond stays in third position. And if he does that, Nigel Mansell will win on aggregate, because if there is a tie, it is the highest placed man in the race that gets the decision. So it's now all eyes on Watson and Mansell. They're on lap 9. Behind them, Tony Pond, Danny Sullivan, Jim Mcrae. Down the long, long straight, underneath the bridge, down towards the chicane. And Mansell goes to try and take John Watson. Watson holds the lead. Into into the last lap. John Watson is leading. Tony Pond is in third place with that flapping door. Behind him, Danny Sullivan and Jim Mcrae. There is Stig Blomqvist in sixth position, and look at his car. Into Redgate. And Mansell's through. Nigel Mansell has taken the lead, or has he? Look at Watson. He's back again in the lead. But Mansell's got the momentum and he's got the line. They're absolutely together. They're rubbing doors. But Mansell's on the inside on the left-hander. Can he get across the front of John Watson? And the answer is yes. Nigel Mansell, if he stays where he is now, and he's in the last half of the last lap of this Austin Rover Rally Sprint, will win overall by getting the tiebreaker decision over Tony Pond, who is in third place. Now it's into the straight. And there they go from Coppice, round the long right-hander, and Nigel Mansell sees the straight ahead of him, but he mustn't let John Watson get past him. Is John going to do it? He's certainly trying. This is the last two corners. Mansell leads, Watson second. There's Pond in third position, and it's going to be a win for Mansell. No doubt about it, but John Watson comes right up at the very last second, and Nigel Mansell wins. John Watson is